Alright, hello gamers! Welcome to a Spoilercast for the PS4 Spider-Man. We're checking it out. Dominic and I have beat the game at this point, and now it's time to talk about the crazy shit that has happened. Let's go to the game. Alright, Dominic, so where do you
All right.
want to begin with this?
All right. Oh well. God damn it! I'm trying to get to your posters channel real quick. All right. Darn. Now I hear myself. Let me turn this sound off. There we go. All right. So, well, hold up. Where are you going to start? Like, what save point you going to go? You going to go to like after you already beaten it, right? Just
Yep.
what?
Yeah,
Okay.
just swing around the city a little bit. Right now I'm in photo mode, looking at the Avengers Tower behind me.
Yeah, that looked. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. This game was means I thought this was going to be a good game anyway. So it didn't really exceed my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little, but I mean I thought because I already like Insomniac games, and I figured them getting the Spider-Man property was just like, yeah, they're going to do well with this.
Yeah.
Really, it was just a question of maybe the story. I thought the gameplay would be fine,
Mm-hmm.
and the story did not disappoint. I mean, it was great. Um, like the main story was great throughout to me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like the only one, it's not really a problem, is that with I don't know if I even. I mean, I liked it that they had Doc Ock become the big villain at the like end, basically,
Mm-hmm.
like how he was developed. I liked that, but I almost kind of didn't want that to happen yet. I was like hoping that maybe something will lead to it, and either to a sequel or DLC or something. So I kind of liked Martin Lee's story. Martin Lee's story was good,
Yeah.
and I just thought that just continuing him trying to take over the city was great, because when Doc Ock came, Martin Lee seemed like just another baddie, and I was like, he seemed better than like a Scorpion or even Electro. Like he seemed smarter, that he wouldn't be working under Doc Ock, like, or
Right.
they like not working under them, like there will be like opposing, like they will work together, but some one of them will always think like, hey, I'm the lead, and I'm the lead. You know how like
Yeah.
those major villains are. So I was kind of a little disappointment. I mean, it's really nitpicky, but I still I still like the story. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for all the games that where you just put in a whole lot of villains, I mean, between like Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, I didn't really play all the way through Arkham Knight, but like just putting a whole bunch of villains into one game, I think this did that, and this game did the best of doing that, where I can appreciate it. And I mean, they did the best way possible, where it still wasn't, it didn't feel like it was too many villains. It felt just right,
Yeah.
because the villains that did show up, they were just like Electro, them, they just escaped jail,
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't like the top dogs anyway. So it was but it was fun, like fighting those boss fights against them, especially like fighting them two at a time, and
Yeah.
you're working it out.
I thought that was really clever because I thought I was rather far into the game and I still hadn't seen any of those guys or fought them really, and I was surprised by that. And then as it develops and you realize that you're going to kind of fight these guys in team battles, I thought that was a really novel concept that we hadn't really seen before from a superhero game, or specifically a Spider-Man game even.
Yeah, because yeah, even I mean, I'm most compared to Batman because that was the best recent one. But
Yeah.
yeah, even then, I don't know if you fought two at a time. I mean, at least I'm trying to remember. Arkham, so I think everybody was just one at a time, and
Mm-hmm.
they were pretty good. I mean, some of them were weak, but in this, I can say in Spider-Man, I think I felt like I generally liked every boss fight there was,
Yeah.
and and it was pretty fun. Like I really enjoyed it. I mean, it really felt cinematic doing those fights, and
Mm-hmm.
cinematic in a way where oh, it's just a whole bunch of quick time events. No, it's like you were actually playing, and that's why I really liked it.
Yeah, definitely. I thought they handled the boss fights in this game really well, including the final boss fight, which, you know, boss fights by the end of the game usually kind of disappoint, but I thought this one still kept Spider-Man what he is, kept you moving the entire time instead of just, you know, kind of running around, dodging attacks and stuff. Swinging around the tower
awesome.
was really cool.
Yeah.
And there was there was some issues I had as far as just like getting the same animation when you're like stuck to the side of the building at the very end part. But I still thought it looked really good and was really cool. It was just kind of disappointing that it was like, oh, I'm going to, you know, dodge his arm and do the same exact attack every time. I thought maybe they could have did a little more there.
That was a little mean. I mean, I guess they were trying to make it, you know what, it probably should have made it, would have been better probably if you just did it like twice, at the most twice, because like doing it a few times, I was like, I'm doing, it's like, but at least either change it or just do it like, hey, this is going to be the final hit that puts them down.
Yeah. Quick question. Are you looking at the Mixer stream right now?
I was looking at it, and then I changed it back to the PS4 because I think the PS4 share is actually
quicker,
more up to date. It's up to date, more up to date than the Mixer stream.
When you looked at the Mixer stream, was it choppy at all? Because it's looking a little choppy for me, but I don't know if that's because it's.
It looks good. It looks good now.
Okay.
But it is, it's slightly choppy.
Okay, because I was thinking it was probably because I was streaming. Okay, and I from my tests earlier, the video's fine. So when we upload it to YouTube, it should be okay. Okay.
It looks fine now.
Cool. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with you as far as the storyline stuff. I really ended up liking Martin Lee's character despite, you know, going into this game knowing nothing about Mr. Negative. I know he's a character in the comics, you know, the more recent ones. But just his story and his backstory, I thought it was really interesting. You know, it's got a nice dichotomy where he's, you know, this really nice guy and he runs this place with Aunt May, and then, you know, at night he turns into this supervillain who's really just trying to get back at Norman Osborn. And then as far as
it seems like that's the theme of these villains. To him, like I thought Octopus and Martin Lee, Norman Osborn. I mean that was pretty cool. And Norman Osborn being the mayor too. That was a cool concept also.
Yeah, which does he become like the president at some point in the comic books? I feel like something like that happens.
Don't quote me. I don't know the current comics at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Was still normal. Was even Witcher anything last time I know what he was doing in the comics.
He was a poor college student still, not a Tony Stark. All right, let's find this crime here. Let's see what they got going on. Show some of this combat off.
Yeah, the combat. Oh yeah, the combat is definitely. Yeah, it does reminisce of the Batman series, but it has its own feel to it. Also. I mean, especially with the swinging with the webs, and at first, like I was feeling like, man, I don't really have to use no powers. And I'm actually, I guess, but as the game went on, I started using a lot of them.
Yeah, I've especially learned to like the electronic web, especially when there's so many enemies, because it'll, you know, arc between them. So it helps out a lot, especially with these dumb big guys that I completely hate.
I still hate the dodge mechanic with them because it seems like it doesn't. You don't.
It really does, because they have like a second follow-up hit that even if you dodge, it doesn't give you enough time to dodge again. So unless you have the upgraded power where if you get a perfect dodge, you hit the webbing on their face, then they're gonna follow up and hit you, which really sucks.
Police are on their way.
What did you think about the costume selection in this game? I think we'll jump to the menu real quick and show off some of those. I really liked a lot of them. I ended up spending a lot of time not in the PS4, Spider-Man game costume. I spent a lot of time in the Scarlet Spider costume, which I think they did a really good job of updating. Yeah.
Yeah, I never liked it. Even when I saw the Spider-Man comic, I never liked the Scarlet Spider-Man costume.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did a good job, making it look authentic, like a lot of these costumes.
Yeah.
But I was never, that one. When I saw you had it, I said, oh, he's wearing that costume. I said, but yeah, I spend most of my time in this PS4 one.
Oh,
now
okay.
later, as the game went on, I switched. I went into the Tony Stark one, and the Iron Spider, and I also to the one next to Iron Spider. What's that one? The Velocity.
Is this the Velocity suit? Yeah.
Yeah, the Velocity suit. No, my fault. Maybe it wasn't that one.
Was it the Iron Armor? Maybe.
Yeah, the Iron Armor. Yeah, that one. I spent some time with that one, and I did the cartoon one, the comic book one, a little bit too. But when it got to a cutscene, it would look freaking weird. And I was like, oh man, I didn't want to be in this costume doing this cutscene. Guess I was man, it's a lot of place.
Later in the game, when I unlocked the Spirit Spider one, I spent a little bit of time in that, and I liked running around the city in it. But when it got into cutscenes, it was just like, this does not seem right at all. So I'm gonna move on.
If people, in the cutscenes, I don't blame them for not reacting to what you learned.
Yeah.
But that's what I want, so they don't react to you differently with the Spirit costume, like, oh, your head's on fire.
No, unfortunately not. I did actually, not using the original PS4 one. When they unlocked the anti-Ock suit, I really liked the look of that one. I thought that was really cool. Just kind of the same thing, but an iron version of that, kind of that thing. And I also ended up wearing the dark suit, which you unlock from the Black Cat stuff a little bit too. I think that one was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually surprised because I looked at a lot of these suits and none of them really did a lot for me. I spent some time like you in the Iron Spider suit from the movie. I think it looks really cool with the reflections in the world. I think it catches the light really good with the metallicness of it. But as I was unlocking stuff, like this electricity insulated suit, I was like, this doesn't look great. And I didn't really like the eyes on the Spider Armor Mark II one. That one just it
was the eyes.
Look like Spider-Man.
I was like, this is kind of cool, but then the eyes was like, oh, I wonder, do they move? Do they move like the other ones they cost?
If I had to guess, I would say no, because the Scarlet Spider ones don't either.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like there are ones that have the mechanical eyes, and then some that don't. But I was actually surprised in looking back at these, how many of these are actually from the comic books and not just things that were created by Insomniac. I thought this Spider Armor one might have been just kind of the hokier looking ones that I thought maybe Insomniac created these because they aren't that great. But yeah, I
use this one. I use this one sometimes too.
Yeah.
Go back to the other one.
Where was I?
Oh, go up. Next. Yeah, go up one.
Up one.
Yeah, and then go.
Oh, the Homecoming suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use that one.
Yeah, that one looks really good too in the world. Yeah, so run around as this guy. It works in this weird way where it's he's this cartoon, but the world around him is still very realistic.
It kind of reminds me of the old commercial. It was the Jerry Seinfeld, was it Discovery or American Express? I forgot what he did, and Superman was there next to him.
Oh yeah.
And that's it kind of reminds me of that, or a Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of thing. I don't know, but I just like the animation, how it looked. I was like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
I've seen
with this
people.
one.
This costume got spoiled early for me.
Yeah.
And because I seen people do screenshots of it. Now first, I thought it was like, oh, maybe it's one of those those pictures you unlocked
Mm-hmm.
when you
Like
do
a
photo
filter or
mode.
something.
Yeah. But then I saw a video of somebody move, and I was like, oh, you actually can do that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, this game just feels so good, just swinging around. This is a game that to get the trophy for riding the train, I literally just rode the train a couple of times in a row. Like, I didn't think I was ever going to actually ride the train for a functional use. So I was like, let me just get this out of the way. Because anytime I wanted to go somewhere, I was just like, let me point at it on the map, and I'm going to swing my way over there, and I'll do some crimes or whatever while I'm on my way.
Right, you're on your way, yeah. But when it got to the point where a lot of the crime stuff I already did, that's when I started using.
Yeah.
I started using train.
The one thing gameplay-wise that I would complain about a little bit is when everything goes to shit and there's like all these enemies out on the map and it's like you can't go like 10 feet without being shot at or, you know, sniped or something like that. It started to get a little frustrating for me. And not because they would like hit me or anything necessarily, but because I'm pretty sure there was a pop-up that said, hey, if you take care of these criminals, they don't come back. So I would, you know, land and try and take care of these guys so next time I come through. But it's like every 5 feet I'd be stopping and trying to stop another set of criminals from doing their thing. And it's okay, I'm doing this too much.
That's like, I learned like, oh, doesn't count. This is not like a real crime. I mean, this is just enemies, like, because of that story where everything went to shit, like they're just popping up, like it's supposed to be just random enemies. And like I didn't say hate it, because I say, oh man, you gotta keep moving because everybody's about to snipe me. It's like everybody's trying to snipe the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh damn. But I like that scenario. It's like, oh man, this city's like really, like New York is burning and I gotta go like freaking fix everything. You know, I mean, that was pretty cool. Like after the breakout, that was after the breakout of the prison.
Yeah, and then with the way they used, because there's not just like transitions of daytime, the way they used very specific times of day for very specific missions, I thought was really clever. Like when you're going to the raft and it turns to night and everything's dark and you're like, oh god, all these enemies are coming at me. I thought that was really cool. And of course the stuff that they showed at E3 of like the sinister sticks getting a hold of you at the raft. As far as the final stuff, the Miles revealing to Peter that he was also bit by a spider and can cling to the ceiling, and the post-credits Norman going to see, why am I blanking on his name? The other Osborn.
Which one?
His son.
Oh, Harry.
Yeah, Harry. Going to see Harry in the chamber, and seemingly some kind of venom or other symbiote around him. What do you think of that stuff? Where do you think they're gonna go with this next game?
Yeah, because so Harry with the symbiote, I think that was in one of the cartoons.
Okay.
Harry was Venom. I think that was the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that came on. I think that was a thing. I think that's when I stopped watching.
Yeah, because I know in the comics they did like a Gwen Stacy got a clone, but something with the clone happened, and then that's how the symbiote came to be. It was very different from, you know, the original origin story of it being a thing that came with Jameson's son.
The Gwen Spider girl?
No, that stuff's completely unrelated, really. It's just an alternate universe where instead of Gwen Stacy dying, Peter Parker dies. So she kind of becomes the Spider-Man equivalent.
So wait a minute. So I don't get it. Like, so they just changed the symbiote?
I'm sorry.
What are you saying? Gwen Stacy? You said Gwen Stacy find some like type of clone. Like, what? I mean, is this still in the same universe, like the normal universe of Spider-Man?
No. So that was like in the separate. That was in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was that stuff. So they just, you know, retold everything in a different way, and that was weird to me reading it for the first time. It's like, well, it was weird first because it's like, oh, they they keep Gwen Stacy alive, and she's around at the same time as Mary Jane. And it's like, oh, this is weird. And then it's like they do this. They essentially do like the Clone Saga from the original series, where you end up with like Scarlet Spider and Ben Reilly and them, but they do it with her instead. So like all the symbiotes end up being like clones of her, and it's really weird, but kind of interesting. But I think it's interesting that Insomniac's gonna kind of do their own take on it, and go with this Harry thing. I guess it would be Norman has worked on this thing to try and help cure his son because his wife died from it, and somehow results in creating this organism that'll then turn him maybe into Venom, or maybe it's just, he created this thing for his son, but the symbiote itself gets to somebody else. Yeah.
I wonder if Green Goblin's gonna even be a thing.
I really wonder. It seemed like that was maybe the way they would go with this, and I thought I would get a tease of that at the end of this.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And then
when I saw
having him,
the symbiote like thing moving, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because it reaches out, for Norman as, yeah. But it'll be interesting to me mainly because like now you have multiple stories. Like you have Peter, who's friends with Harry, so you want to see their interactions. But also, would you then also play as Miles in that game, or would you play as Miles instead because something happens with Peter and Harry? Maybe Peter ends up dying. Because in this game they do go some places. They kill off Aunt May, which was a very, very emotional scene as you're trying to decide whether you're gonna save her or you're gonna save everyone else. What did you think about that stuff, Dominic?
Yeah. Okay. Now with Miles, him finding out about Miles, I mean, I like the idea of there being that other Spider-Man there, but it was a little corny. It's a little corny how
yeah.
he just jumps up and shows him. I think,
look what I can do. Yeah, I can do it too.
Oh, also them going to kill Aunt May. Like, I was like, wow, they're all doing that in the first game.
Yep.
Like her dying. That kind of threw me. And wow, my PC's doing a lot of stuff right now. As long as my Skype's still working. But yeah, overall it was okay. It was okay. Like showing that stuff. So because now, at least with this, like them changing things up, you going in like, cause Spider-Man's story that, yeah, I kind of know what's going to probably happen. Now you're like, oh, they changing things up, so now it's going to be surprised. So it's going to be. I was like, okay, where they going to go with this? I genuinely want to know. And you playing as Miles, that could be pretty cool. Like, how they going to interact with, like how much they're going to interact with his story too. Like, is he going to be a real big part? I mean, he was kind of a big part in this one, and you see him interact with people he knows. Like, it's not just he's connected to Peter's world, but maybe we'll see some of his world.
Yeah, maybe see like the Prowler or something like that. Yeah, I'd be interested. Because I mean, in this game they do have you play as multiple different characters, so I guess that wouldn't be that big a change if they just sometimes you're Miles Spider and sometimes you're Peter Parker Spider-Man and sometimes you're Mary Jane again, because I thought that stuff was okay.
It actually was okay, yeah.
Yeah, it breaks stuff up enough.
And it wasn't like totally like hard stealth, like those stealth missions weren't, and they weren't boring. Like some stealth missions I just don't like because it's the only thing like you just hiding from people, but it's pretty boring. And but with this, it kept it interesting. Like when you were Miles and you were sneaking around from the Rhino, that was intense. And I was like, oh man, it's like you're just busting through shit. And even Mary Jane going through Sable's team and like sneaking through and finding out stuff because she's a reporter. And yeah, yeah, that I thought that's what I was thinking about those missions when they said you was gonna play as Mary Jane. I was like, God, when were they gonna be any good? With those other characters, is one gonna be any good? Or
I wanted a Spider-Man game. I didn't want a Mary Jane
yeah.
game.
But I was like, okay, this is actually pretty good. I mean, I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it was cool, like when she was the hostage situation, how you were telling
Mm-hmm.
Peter where enemies were, and he'll rope them up, whip them up. And that actually was pretty okay with those missions.
Yeah, they definitely used some creativity there to keep everything interesting. And nothing felt like you said, where it's stealth, but it never felt like I had to like sit there for too long and oh no, I gotta wait for this guard's routine to follow. You know, you could keep moving pretty quickly. It was never like I'm just waiting for this thing to happen so I can do this thing again, and here we go. One of the biggest troubles I had with this was like the Silver Sable bases around the city, though. There were just so many of those guys around at any given time, and they always had like guns, like those rapid fire guns. That was another thing, like the big enemies. It's like you can dodge this, but I feel like I'm still gonna get hit by all the other bullets coming after me, you know? It's like, why can't I just like get clear completely? You know, this guy's got an automatic weapon. What's happening?
Also, I don't like when they you know how they tell you in this group of fights, you get bonuses if you do certain actions, like if you want to like whip people to the wall, like 5 people to the wall or something like that. And now, like some of them say like use stealth attacks. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I've already seen. Yeah. I wish there was a way I could go hide again so I can go back and do it, but it seems like I can't, because every time I leave, I come back, they see me, like they know where I was, and they start shooting at me again. So I say, well, I can't get that bonus. Only some instances that works, but but other than that, I mean, it's all right. I mean, I guess it could be better, but I think it's fine. It's fine. What it was.
Yeah, so is there anything else you want to take a look at while we're running around this city here?
I don't know what you can do after the game. Well, what else can you do if you did everything?
Pretty much, I mean, we can go in and take a look at like one of the gang places, if that would be interesting.
Oh, yeah, do one of those fist score.
Let's see. Who's closest here?
What is that group called? What is
the Demons?
Yeah, the Demons.
Yeah, let's see if there's a Demons one close by. Go over to this guy.
Computer is fucking
going crazy on you?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Let me see what's going on my task manager here.
How many games you got running down?
I have none. So I don't know why.
Oh, wow. No, and this PS4 is a little loud over here. It is not ready for this game, Dominic. Yeah, and this is running on a standard PS4, so as good as it looks now, I can only wonder how much better it looks on a PS4 Pro. Yeah, and we'll take a look at one of these, because early in the game, like, I wasn't really feeling the stealth stuff too much, but in these situations, I think it's a lot better in these very like specific places. Like the street fights, not so much. You might get like a hit or two, but in these it very much feels like the Batman rooms where you would go in and go between gargoyles to see, you know, who you could take down without getting people noticed and string them up in the rafters and whatnot. Let's see where else we got some people at.
Oh yeah, I'm not seeing it right now because, like I said, it's freaking frozen. I'm trying to get something else open.
Yeah, I'm just kind of going around, stringing these guys up slowly before I get into some action here. Web strike that guy.
Very sleepy.
And oh, they're starting to see me here. I've messed up here. Okay, we are back in stealth mode. We'll string this guy up. Yeah, I think they do a good job with the stealth mechanics, though. They allow you to see whether you can attack somebody and whether that'll tip somebody else off, which I think is a nice added bonus there to make it a little more accessible for people that might not be that great at stealth games. And just being able to move around with the L2 and the R2 buttons kind of pointing in a place and being shot directly there makes it so you can move around
quite a bit. This definitely gives you that Arkham Asylum feel of like
Definitely.
going and being the rafters and on the guardrails and shit.
Oh, hitting me with the glowy hands. Let's see who else is around here. Let's throw some stuff. Oh, didn't throw that at you. I do like the upgraded throw where the swinging around actually hurts the people. That helped a lot, especially with the big guys as they come in. It's like, oh crap, they're running at me, but I'm in the middle of this animation trying to hit these people up. What's going on?
Oh yeah, also in the fight, I love the banter. The banter is pretty funny.
Yeah.
It definitely, like, they really got this in point with Spider-Man.
Yeah, they pretty much nailed his attitude perfectly. He jokes about, even like as the waves come in, he's like, oh look, another group of nameless, faceless guys, because the other ones did so well.
Also, I love the Jonah Jameson podcast.
Oh yeah.
That comes up throughout. And I mean, those are hilarious. I mean, it is funny. Yeah, like the swing the city and then hear them. And I hate when I start a mission. Oh crap! It mess up the podcast.
Yep.
But you can go back and listen to all of them. And man, it makes me want, like, oh, I wish it really was a podcast that with him was talking about Spider-Man and how much he hates him and blames him for everything.
Yep. We gotta create that, Dominic. It'll be like one of those old radio plays.
Like the one I really remember was the one when Spider-Man was like after he defeated some of the regular citizens who got infected by the demons, and then he was talking to one of the victims, and they were saying that Spider-Man stopped me from hurting people. He said, you say he stopped you. You say he beat you up. He said, yeah. I said, Spider-Man beat you up. I said, yeah, but I would have hurt people. He said, okay, sir. I say, I take that as a yeah. I say, you heard that, folks? Spider-Man beats up the mentally ill. He said,
mentally ill. Yeah, I like the one where when you're chasing the pigeons, he's like, have you ever heard of these whatever spiders? They eat birds. Is Spider-Man eating these birds?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's got me figured out. That's why I'm chasing these pigeons down. Let's pick up that grenade, throw it at you. Get your shield out of the way. Yeah, this game just feels so good. They did such a great job with it. And before this was announced, there was rumors about it, and it sounded like maybe, I'm blanking on the name now, but the Sly Cooper guys that did Infamous were working on it. And it's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense, right?
Makes perfect sense, yeah.
And it's like, oh no, it's Insomniac, which Insomniac is like admittedly one of my favorite studios. And it's like, oh, okay, but they don't have the same pedigree, of working on this type of game. They had Sunset Overdrive, but that's not quite the same as like a superhero thing. And then this just turns out just so perfectly, and it's
just how versatile they are. Because you look, they did Ratchet and Clank. Well, first they did Spyro, then they did Ratchet and Clank, which you could kind of see. So like you say, mascot basically. And but this time it was a lot of it was kind of shootery. I was like, oh, okay.
MJ,
and then they did a shooter, Resistance series, which is totally different from Spyro and Ratchet and Clank. And then they did Sunset Overdrive. But it's continuing working on Ratchet and Clank. That's like probably the most consistent series they have that they still worked on from PlayStation 2. And now they doing Spider-Man. I mean, they like these elements are like they're not totally the same. Like you wouldn't think that the studio did some of these games, like they did all those games.
Yeah.
But
And let's not forget Fuse,
Yeah.
Dominic, the best of their catalog.
Oh shit, I forgot about that one.
Or let's just forget about Fuse. I mean, I wonder what they would say about that.
Well, Fuse thing is when we first saw it, it looked like something almost looked like the art style almost like Sunset Overdrive or something,
Mm-hmm.
but then it just changed to look realistic. And it was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it looked like all the personality got sapped out of it for some reason. Like some guy in a boardroom was like, nah, that's not what the kids are buying nowadays. They're buying Call of Duty. Let's do that. And, you know, which is sad because it kind of reminds me of like Overwatch. Like it could have been Overwatch back in the day. I say back in the day, but, you know, probably was longer than I would like to admit at this point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else there is to say about this game, Dominic.
What are side missions? You
yes.
had Tombstone. I think that was
yes.
a pretty good side, that side mission, like going after his gang, trying to figure out what they're doing, or then stopping their operations before you fight him.
Yeah, seeing him was really cool, and fighting him was one of them. I feel like one of the more difficult things because, you know, he has the hard skin that you couldn't penetrate at first, and you had to kind of build up to doing that. But yeah, I thought that was really cool.
I don't even know him like what he looks like in the TV show
in the
cartoon,
yeah.
In the 1990s. I was like, man, he looks totally different from that.
Yep.
he looked like a Hulk.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job of changing all of the villains and kind of, I don't know about modernizing him, but maybe making him a little more realistic, you know, a little more based in reality than just this guy in, you know, like a yellow and brown spandex suit that shoots shit out of his wrist. Now he's got like this whole apparatus and whatnot that kind of explains why that's a thing. Yeah.
What was the other side missions?
They had the Taskmaster stuff. I guess I'll actually show off one of these drones. I liked them because it was just more swinging around. But, you know, it's not really a time thing, but it kind of is a time thing because if the drone gets too far away from you. But I think it helps you to kind of learn the controls and get a little better at the mobility stuff. So I think they do an actual decent job with that. Now trying to get, you know, gold star or whatever, that's a whole different story. Because even in this one, as you'll see, I only have the second to highest. But I thought they're all right. And the ones with the hairy, like research centers, I thought those were okay too. They had a wide range of variety that
a lot more
kept it fresh,
which I did appreciate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're just trying to overshot that one way too much, and up on the street.
I mean, going through the city, man, it's like, man, because I just want to know. Since I don't know New York, but just like what buildings is the Avengers and Fist Tower taking the place of?
Yeah.
Like, what are those? What is in that area that they're in?
That is a good question. Yeah, because there's this building that you can see kind of right there, which I think is supposed to be the Freedom Tower, right?
It is. It is supposed to reminisce it. I don't think it's exactly what it looks like though.
Yeah, and it's not. And it's also not a picture place, like neither a regular one or one of the secret ones.
I think it should have been. Like at least should have been a secret one at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, you see all these major buildings. It's like, oh yeah, you really going through New York, but it's like it's going to be a little different because you have these other, like the Avengers and the Fantastic. I think it's the Fantastic Four.
I don't know if I can't remember if I saw the Baxter Building or not.
Yeah. I felt like it did, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like it should be.
Like, what's the real location? Like, what are they?
Yeah.
What is in those places?
Did I miss one up here? It doesn't look like it.
And I kind of wish, like, oh man, wish this game was bigger. Because I kind of want to go across the bridge. I want to go to Queens.
Yeah, that's what I kind of hoped for out of a sequel would be, you know, more. Oh, I lost it. Oh well. But Let's see.
And wait a minute, and that's where the bull's supposed to be, right? They
yep.
got the,
and you know what's here? If this loads out of the screen here, you get a nice little. I like that you can kind of move this stuff around. Keeps the load screens interesting.
Yeah, you can't move much.
No. Oh, they took me back up here where it was. Yeah, but in place of the bull, they have the dog from the Inhumans.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a cool thing. I think he's one of the secret photo opportunities.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, the secret photo opportunities, I was disappointed by that stuff, actually, for the most part. There are a couple of cool ones like him, or Lockjaw, that's what his name is. But a lot of them are just like, here's a fountain. And I don't know if it's like a famous fountain if you're from New York, but to me it's just a fountain. And I'm like, oh, like I was expecting.
That's why.
Maybe. I was expecting just more like fan servicey stuff, you know. And
I was hoping he had more reaction to the stuff he takes pictures of. Like
he's just like, oh, this is a nice shot or something like that. It's like
some
okay.
things he does have a reaction to, but some things, most of the stuff he just says nice shot. I was like, oh, I want you to explain to me why is this a good photo, or at least if I can go look at the photos, it'll have oh, what is this? Because something I don't really.
That's another weird thing is like there's no place to go look at those photos when you take them. I thought that was kind of weird. Because some of them, I'll be honest, like if I couldn't tell where it was, especially with like the secret ones, because it wasn't something that was like obvious, like oh, this is Alias Investigations or something like that, I would just pull out my camera, point it around until it was like, here's the place, and snap a picture.
Or what area it'll be in. Yeah, because I think most things, like with the secret photos, like I completed them all, but just by, I think I only missed like 5. So that's why I said I might as well just
get the rest of them.
And so I mean, because most of the time I was just swinging around, had my camera out, and I just go in slow mo and just start twirling my shit around and see, like, oh, is there anything green around here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good way of doing it. Yeah. Yeah, that stuff's cool. Like we said, the hairy stuff I thought was pretty neat with just how much variety there was to it. I thought they did a good job with that. The Taskmaster stuff I think got a little repetitive with the drone stuff and especially the bombs.
Well, I thought it was gonna be more like when Taskmaster, like that was it, that he said they're testing you like for a job and you say you wouldn't do it. Disappointing. I think that was it. I was like, oh man, I thought it was gonna be something else that happened. Yeah,
that one and the Black Cat stuff kind of, compare that to the Hammerhead stuff or Tombstone stuff rather. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like the Tombstone stuff was kind of just a side thing, but that ended up being really cool and ending up with like that boss fight. And then you fight Taskmaster, but that fight wasn't great. It was just him like, oh, I'm stealing all your moves and this is kind of difficult. And then the Black Cat stuff, it's just like, oh, you never actually see her. You just find her hideout and get this
now we know with the DLC.
Cool suit. Yeah.
With her. So maybe Taskmaster's a DLC or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it's more to him.
Yeah, because there are 3 of them. So, I'm very excited about getting some more out of this after bringing it to 100%. I'm excited to get some more. I hope they do some serious story stuff and it's not just like, oh, here's kind of a side thing that you have going on. Yeah. Is there anything else you're thinking about, Dominic, with this game?
Let me see.
We're on another suit here.
Let's see, is there anything I missed? I mean, it starts out hot at the beginning with Wilson Fisk, but he ends up by the end, he's in the backdrop. So I'm guessing he'll get out of jail some way, but he stays in jail throughout the game.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising, it's his thugs that are out here, that's these guys that I'm beating up now, but yeah, he doesn't have much of a real impact on what's going on. Ooh, and there's the big guys taking me out. So let's switch to the electro webs here and give them nice little seizures. And pass that on to everybody else as I use my Ghost Rider spirit. I mean, that's the thing about like the costumes though. Like there are a couple of iconic ones that I was expecting to be in this game. The black suit, of course, and
that's actually not there.
Yeah, getting to the end and not seeing them, but it makes sense because you got to keep something for the sequel, I guess. And a black suit in one where Venom appears makes more sense.
If I did,
And then, of course, like the Superior Spider-Man, where Doc Ock becomes, takes over the body of Peter Parker.
I read the comic, the first two comics of that. It seemed okay. They were okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like that's one of the better modern storylines. I'm gonna throw on the Iron Spider legs if I can find them here. There they are. Because I think they are pretty cool. I wish they were used like climbing buildings and stuff. I think that would be pretty cool. And let's actually switch the suit to the Iron Spider too, because it makes a lot more sense when they pop out of his back. And we can see how cool it looks with its nice reflections and metallic feeling to it. See if we can find some guys to beat up here. I'm glad even after the game's complete and you do all the gang fights and everything, I'm glad that they still keep some crime around just so it gives you something to do if you come back into the world.
It's like, well, they did better because I mean, swinging around, I mean, it's fun, but I still want to do something with it, interact with it. But.
Yeah, let's go save this person from being mugged with some spider legs.
But I noticed, like, when I was playing the game, sometimes I get lost in swinging. I'll just be swinging around.
Yep.
And just, oh, wow.
These spider legs all out of here. Ah! Yeah, guys with guns are not fans of Spider-Man, apparently. And I wonder if we get to a point, and I don't necessarily think the next game would be that one, but if we start to see like more Marvel characters outside of the Spider-Man universe, the Avengers people, we see Iron Man or something. You got the Avengers Tower right here, so
yeah, exactly.
Is it empty? Did it get bought like it was in Spider-Man Homecoming?
Yeah,
Is that the
all
problem?
the millions of other Marvel characters that's in New York.
Yeah.
Because everybody's in New York.
Yeah, I mean, even like, I think one of the coolest moments that was just like really subtle was me walking down the street, which I don't spend much time doing because, this is not as cool as swinging around, although let's give that person a wave. Oh, tried to uppercut that guy.
Oh, there you go. Do the triangle. I think you get a high five or something.
Come on.
Nope. Oh, well, she's telling you something bad's happening.
Is there a crime happening? What's going on, lady? Oh yeah, there's a crime over here. But yeah, it was like I was just walking down the street and this guy was like, "Oh yeah, if you need a lawyer, there's a blind guy, or there's a guy over in Hell's Kitchen. He's blind, but he's really good," or something like that. I was like, "Oh, that's neat. They're talking about Daredevil."
Yeah, exactly.
Or they're talking about Matt Murdock, I guess. And then of course, his law firm is there, and you can see Alias investigations and stuff like that. But most of it's, just kind of off to the side. I would maybe like to see more characters introduced. In this one you had Silver Sable.
But in the first Spider-Man on PlayStation anyway, the PlayStation and PlayStation 2, they had all those freaking side characters like you just see pop up. Like,
yeah, because Spider-Man, the cartoon in the 90s was like the biggest influence of this is what Spider-Man is to me. And every episode it was like, oh, here's the Punisher, here's the Fantastic Four.
Here's Nick Fury.
It's always somebody.
Then when the X-Men one, the episode, I love that. I was like, oh man, good. It's awesome X-Men.
Yep. Best of both worlds, Dominic, before Kanye and Jay-Z were doing it. Or that was Kanye. That was Jay-Z and R. Kelly.
Yeah, R. Kelly. Yeah.
Except we don't talk about him anymore, Dominic. So Kanye. Although I guess we don't talk about him either.
I think some people don't want to, but hell, he's still doing it. I mean, obviously some people like him because enough people like him that he's still selling.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So you got anything else for the people here, Dominic? I think we're kind of running out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah. I think that's about it. This is one of the best games on PS4, and I heard that more. I mean, as far as completion wise, a lot of people like even the platinums. This is like one of the most people who have got a platinum trophy.
Oh wow!
And this on a PS4.
I mean, it definitely the platinum feels accessible. Like, I mean, it helps that there's no multiplayer stuff, because that's always like a sticking point
definitely.
for me. I hate multiplayer achievements and trophies and stuff. But even then, like in this game, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to upgrade all the gadgets and stuff, which can actually be a detriment if you're trying to like get all the suits, but you don't want to get all the Taskmaster stuff to the highest level possible, because that's what I did. I had one suit that I like didn't realize I hadn't unlocked yet. I think it was the Spider-Man 2099 one, and I needed more challenge tokens, but I just used the last of the challenge tokens that I got to buy all the gadgets, which didn't end up being an achievement or a trophy at all. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, at least I'll try these gadgets out now, and see what's going on with them. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I mean, shit, man, between this and God of War, it's been a heck of a year for Sony.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. They got those exclusives, those big exclusives on there, and they've been damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, God of War was epic. I mean, this is epic too. It's gonna be kind of hard for me to choose which one I actually like better. I really enjoyed both of them.
Exactly. That's why I'm gonna disqualify both of them.
Disqualify.
Yep.
Pick something. Yeah. But other exclusives came on Sony this year. I mean, that didn't need.
Oh my God! This guy is taking a hostage.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that. It just looked like he laid him down so softly.
This is the one. This is the last suit you get, right? Like from the Doc Oct. The Doc meaning when you put the Doc Oct, right?
Yeah. That's the final suit. Yeah. The Octakiller suit. Yeah.
They should have had one where you like wear Ratchet's costume. They like they do that. They had those things. Like I think, like even when Naughty Dog was like letting them use Jack, like something from Jack and Daxter and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no Easter egg or like Ratchet and Clank or anything or Resistance.
I haven't seen anything, especially not costume wise.
I don't know who they are. I don't know who they,
yeah, I can't think of that dude's name now.
Monster. Like a chimera or whatever they call it.
Yeah, the chimeras. No, I haven't seen anything. I wonder if there is like maybe just like a poster or a billboard somewhere even. Because like in that new Into the Spider-Verse trailer, people have been pointing out that there's a poster in the background of one of the scenes that shows, a little bit, like you can kind of see the shoulder of Spider-Man with the PS4 suit. And it's like, oh my goodness, it's tied in. It's amazing. Which makes sense because, it's all the different universes, so even if it's not there, but if they just, like, allude to it, that would be really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't seen anything. Maybe I'll have to do some research online and see. Because it definitely, like, why wouldn't they do that? It seems weird that wouldn't be a thing in there. All right. Anything else, Dominic, before we
I think
shut this
about
guy
it.
down? Alright guys, thank you for watching this. If you enjoyed it, we do have a podcast. It is SUPAPod, the Super Ultra Podcast Arcade. You can find that on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find us there. If you're watching this later on YouTube, this was streamed live on Mixer, mixer.com/SUPAPod, mixer.com/RegulusMB, and Dino Mans also. We all have, Mixer channels. And I think that's about it, guys. We'll check you out next time.
All right, see you.